First contact with the impossible. The quantum sensors aboard the Celestial Heritage Observatory Station lit up like a festival display. Senior observer Vex 2's crystalline appendages vibrated in alarm as she processed the readings. A ship, a crude, chemical-propelled human vessel, had just emerged from FTL at the edge of the Morax void. "Director," she called out, her translator struggling to convey the mix of horror and fascination in her harmonic voice. "We have another Level 7 incursion. It's humans this time." Director Anzil glided across the observation deck, his bioluminescent patches pulsing a deep indigo of concern. In 3 centuries of monitoring the void, he'd documented 47 species attempting to breach its mysteries. None had survived longer than 6.2 standard hours. "Show me," he commanded, extending a sensory tendril toward the main holographic display. The image materialized. A battered salvage vessel, its hull patched with mismatched plates and sporting what appeared to be manually welded reinforcements. The ship's designation resolved in their translation matrix. UNC Rust Bucket. "How characteristically human," Anzil observed dryly. "Begin standard Death Watch protocols. Record all observations for the archives of futility." But something was different about this incursion. The human vessel wasn't plunging blindly into the void like so many others. Instead, it was performing a methodical sensor sweep of the region, maintaining a careful distance from the void's event horizon. "Director," Vex 2's crystals chimed with uncertainty. They're deploying probes, but they're not standard sensor drones. They appear to be." She paused, running the analysis twice to be certain. "Modified mining equipment." Inside the rust bucket, Captain Sarah Chen watched the probe telemetry with intense focus. Her crew of 5, handpicked for this mission, gathered around the jury-rigged command console, their excitement barely contained. "Looking good, Cap," Dr. James Rodriguez, their physicist, reported. "The probe's containment fields are holding. Whatever's eating up matter in there, our theory about the modified mining shields is working." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. 6 months of preparation, countless simulations, and 3 completely rebuilt probes had led to this moment. The scientific community had declared the Morax void impossible to study. Its space-time distortions destroyed any matter or energy that crossed its boundary. But Sarah and her crew had noticed something that the more advanced species had missed. "Tell me again why we're the first ones to try this," asked Lisa Wong, their engineering specialist, as she fine-tuned the probe's feedback. "Because," Sarah replied, "sometimes the simplest solution is the one everyone's too smart to see. The void doesn't destroy everything instantly. There's a pattern to it, like waves on a beach, if you time it right. And if you're crazy enough to try," added Mike O'Connor, their pilot, with a grin. On the observatory station, the alien observers watched in growing bewilderment as the human probes survived minute after minute, transmitting data back to their ship. Their primitive shields, rather than trying to resist the void's effects entirely, seemed to be riding them. "Impossible," Anzil whispered, his bioluminescence flickering rapidly. "They're using the void's own destructive patterns to protect themselves. The shields aren't fighting the waves of destruction. They're synchronizing with them." "Director," another observer called out, "we're detecting something at the heart of the void. Something the human probes have found." The holographic display shifted, revealing what thousands of years of advanced alien observation had missed. A massive structure, pulsing with energy, perfectly phased between the void's waves of destruction. Sarah Chen's voice crackled across the open channels, recorded for posterity by the stunned alien observers. "Control, this is Rust Bucket. You're not going to believe what we just found. That's not a natural phenomenon in there. It's a ship, and unless every reading we're getting is wrong, it's still operational." The observatory erupted in chaos as the implications became clear. Humans, using modified mining equipment and what the aliens considered primitive technology, had just unlocked one of the greatest mysteries in known space. Begin emergency contact protocols. Anzil ordered, his voice carrying an unfamiliar tone. Respect. I believe it's time we introduced ourselves to our innovative neighbors. Sarah Chen studied the massive structure through their makeshift sensor array, a glint of determination in her eyes. All right, team, this is what we came for. Whatever's in there has been waiting a long time to be found. Let's not keep it waiting any longer. As the rust bucket began its carefully calculated approach to the ancient vessel, the aliens of the celestial heritage were frantically rewriting their assessments of human capability. They had dismissed humans as primitive, reckless, and doomed to fail. Instead, they were witnessing something unprecedented: humanity's unique gift for finding answers in the spaces between the obvious solutions. The greatest discovery in recent galactic history was about to unfold, and it would be remembered not as a triumph of advanced technology, but as a testament to human ingenuity, determination, and the simple wisdom of seeing what everyone else had overlooked. The science of survival. Your species has a remarkable talent for reckless behavior, Director Anzil's holographic form stated, floating above the rust bucket's makeshift conference table. His crystalline structure scattered prismatic light across the cramped briefing room. Sarah Chen leaned forward, her scarred hands wrapped around a chipped coffee mug. With all due respect, Director, we prefer the term calculated risks. Your records show 47 failed attempts to study the void. Did anyone ever try asking why those attempts failed? The alien director's bioluminescent patches pulsed with what might have been embarrassment. The phenomena was deemed inherently unstable. The destruction of matter and energy appeared random. Exactly, Dr. Rodriguez interjected, pulling up a holographic display of their probe data. Everyone was so focused on the destruction that they missed the pattern. It's like watching a wood chipper and thinking it's random chaos, when really it's a precise machine doing exactly what it's designed to do. The alien observers watched in fascination as the humans laid out their findings. The void wasn't a natural phenomenon. It was a manufactured defensive system, operating on principles so fundamental that advanced civilizations had overlooked them. Lisa Wong, manipulating a 3D model of their modified mining shields, explained, "The void generates destruction waves on a quantum level, but they pulse like any other waveform. Our shields don't try to stop them. They match the frequency and ride them, like a surfer on the ocean." Surfing quantum destruction waves, Mike O'Connor chuckled from his pilot's station. If my physics professor could see me now. But it was their next discovery that truly shook the alien observers. Sarah activated their main view screen, showing the massive structure at the void's heart. "This isn't just a ship," she announced. "It's a key." And someone went to extraordinary lengths to hide it. The structure pulsed with a strange energy, perfectly synchronized with the void's destructive waves. Their primitive sensors, jury-rigged to detect mining deposits, had revealed something the aliens' advanced technology had missed. Patterns within patterns, a complex dance of energy that seemed almost alive. "We've detected what appear to be access points," Dr. Rodriguez reported, highlighting several areas on the display. "The ship's defensive field operates on the same principle as our shields. It's not fighting the void, it's part of it. The question is, how do we get inside?" Vex 2's crystalline form shimmered with concern through the holographic link. Any attempt to breach the structure's perimeter would be suicide. The energy concentrations alone would tear apart any conventional approach, Sarah finished. "That's why we're not going to use one." She nodded to Lisa, who brought up schematics of what looked like primitive diving equipment. "You can't be serious." Anazil's translator barely managed to convey his horror. "Those are pressure suits from your planet's oceanic exploration history. Modified, of course," Lisa explained, pride evident in her voice. "The principles are the same, dealing with extreme pressure differentials, hostile environments. We've adapted them to work with our shield technology. Sometimes, the old ways are the best ways." The alien observers watched in stunned silence as the humans methodically prepared for what they considered impossible. The crew's easy banter and seemingly casual approach to death-defying challenges masked a deeper truth. Every move was calculated, every risk assessed. Director, Sarah addressed the hologram. We're going to crack open this mystery. You can either help us by monitoring our approach and providing backup, or you can watch from a safe distance. Either way, we're going in. Anzil's crystalline structure vibrated with a complex mixture of emotions. You understand that if you're wrong about any of your calculations, the results would be catastrophic. Sarah smiled, the expression both confident and grim. That's why we triple-check our math and always pack spare parts. Humanity didn't make it to the stars by playing it safe. We got here by being smart about how we take risks. As the crew began their final preparations, the alien observers found themselves confronting an uncomfortable truth. They had built their civilization on the assumption that advancement meant increasing complexity, more sophisticated technology. Yet here were humans, using modified primitive equipment to solve a puzzle that had stumped the galaxy's greatest minds. Remember, Sarah briefed her team, we're not trying to overpower the Void's defenses. We're going to dance with them. Rodriguez, you're monitoring the wave patterns. Wong, keep our shields synchronized. O'Connor, you're our rhythm. Match our approach to the pulses exactly. What about you, Cap? Mike asked, already running flight calculations. Sarah checked the seals on her modified diving suit, the materials a strange mix of ancient and modern technology. I'm going for a swim in the quantum waves. Someone has to knock on that ship's door. As the rust bucket began its careful approach to the ancient vessel, the aliens of the celestial heritage found themselves holding their breath. A feat particularly impressive for species that didn't technically need to breathe. They were about to witness either a breakthrough in galactic exploration or the spectacular end of a remarkably clever human crew. Either way, they were learning a valuable lesson about the danger of underestimating species that refuse to accept the impossible as an answer. Breaking all the rules. The modified diving suit felt clumsy and primitive compared to modern EVA equipment, but Sarah Chen knew it was their best chance. She stood in the rust bucket's airlock, watching the quantum wave patterns pulse across her suit's basic heads-up display. Wave synchronization at 98.2%. Rodriguez's voice crackled through the old-style radio. They'd abandoned quantum communications. Too much interference from the void. You'll have a window of approximately 15 seconds between pulses. On the celestial heritage, the alien observers had gone completely still, their various sensory organs fixed on the unprecedented event unfolding before them. They're going to get themselves killed. Vex 2 whispered, her crystalline structure vibrating with anxiety. Maybe, Director Ansel replied softly, but they might also teach us something about what we've been doing wrong all these years. Sarah took a deep breath as the airlock cycled. The view before her defied description, waves of quantum destruction rippling through space like an ocean storm made of broken reality. At the heart of it all, the massive ancient ship pulsed in perfect harmony with the chaos. Approaching first wave, O'Connor reported from the pilot's seat. Ready on your mark, Cap. Sarah checked her suit's shield generator one last time. Primitive mining technology repurposed into something the galaxy's finest engineers had deemed impossible. Send me out dancing, Mike. The airlock opened, and Sarah Chen stepped into the quantum void. The sensation was unlike anything in human experience. Each wave of destruction passed through her shield like thunder through storm clouds. The modified diving suit creaked under the strain, its ancient materials flexing in ways their original designers had never imagined. Shield harmonics holding, Lisa reported, her voice tight with concentration. You're riding the waves, Cap, just like we practiced. Sarah activated her suit's maneuvering system. Compressed air jets, almost embarrassingly simple compared to modern technology. But they worked, and right now, that's all that mattered. Director, one of the alien observers called out, She's actually doing it. The human is surviving in the void. With each calculated burst from her thrusters, Sarah moved closer to the ancient vessel. The quantum waves became stronger, more complex, but the pattern held. Their mathematics had been correct. There was order in this chaos, purpose in this destruction. Contact in 30 seconds, Rodriguez announced. Wave intensity increasing. Sarah, if you're going to find an access point, it needs to be soon. The alien observers watched in astonishment as Sarah reached out toward the ancient ship's hull. Her primitive sensors, designed to detect mineral deposits in asteroids, revealed what billions of credits worth of advanced technology had missed. A rhythm, a pulse, a door hidden in plain sight. "I'm seeing something," Sarah reported, her voice steady despite the tremendous forces surging around her. "The hull isn't solid. It's phasing in and out of our reality, matching the void's pulses. There's a gap in the pattern, like a heartbeat," Rodriguez finished. "The ship isn't fighting the void. It's breathing with it." Sarah positioned herself precisely, watching the waves of destruction pass through the ship's hull. "When I give the signal, hit the emergency recall. If I'm wrong about this, I don't want the suit floating around as evidence." "Captain," Anzil's holographic form flickered in her helmet display. "What you're attempting is exactly why humans made it to the stars." Sarah cut him off. "Sometimes you have to break all the rules to understand why they existed in the first place." With that, Sarah Chen did something that made the alien observers cry out in horror. She deactivated her shield. For a fraction of a second, she was exposed to the full fury of the quantum void. In that moment, as reality itself tried to tear her apart, she reached out and touched the ancient ship's hull. There was a pulse of energy, a flash of light that overwhelmed even the advanced sensors of the celestial heritage. And then, life signs detected. Vex 2 announced, her crystals chiming in shock. She's inside the vessel." The human survived. Sarah found herself standing in a corridor that seemed to bend the laws of physics. The walls pulsed with the same energy that powered the void, but here it was controlled, tamed, purposeful. "I'm in," she reported, her voice filled with wonder. "And you're not going to believe this, but I don't think this ship is derelict at all. It's not dead, it's sleeping." As if in response to her words, lights began to flicker to life along the corridor. Displays activated, showing text in a language older than any known civilization. And beneath her feet, Sarah felt a vibration that could only be one thing. The ship was waking up. On the observatory station, Director Anzil watched in amazement as the ancient vessel began to transform. "After all our efforts, all our advanced technology," he mused, "it took a human in a modified diving suit to unlock one of the greatest mysteries in the galaxy. Why did it work?" Vex 2 asked, her scientific curiosity overcoming her shock. "Why did such primitive technology succeed where we failed?" Anzil's bioluminescence pulsed thoughtfully. "Perhaps because they weren't trying to overcome the impossible. They were trying to understand it." Inside the ancient ship, Sarah Chen began to explore, each step revealing new wonders. She had broken every rule in the book to get here, but sometimes that's exactly what progress required. The greatest discovery in galactic history was about to unveil its secrets, not to the most advanced civilization, but to a human who dared to think differently. The awakening. The ship isn't just alive. Sarah's voice crackled through the primitive radio link. It's a library. The most advanced library ever created, hidden inside a quantum fortress. The corridors she walked through seemed to shift and change, responding to her presence. Holographic displays activated as she passed, showing star charts from ages long past, civilizations that had risen and fallen before humanity's ancestors had learned to make fire. "Cap, your suit readings are, well, they're impossible," Lisa reported from the rust bucket. "The energy signatures we're detecting shouldn't exist in our universe." "That's because they don't. At least not normally," Dr. Rodriguez interjected, his voice tight with excitement. "The ship isn't just using the void for protection. It's using it as a power source. It's harvesting energy from the quantum destruction itself. On the celestial heritage, the alien observers watched in stunned silence as their sensors struggled to comprehend what was happening. The ancient vessel was transforming, layers of quantum camouflage peeling away like petals of an impossible flower. Director Vex 2 announced, her crystalline form vibrating with excitement. We're detecting signs of an artificial intelligence awakening. It's beyond anything in our records. Sarah reached what appeared to be the ship's central chamber. The walls rippled with energy patterns that made her eyes hurt if she looked at them too directly. In the center of the room, a column of light pulsed in perfect synchronization with the void outside. "Hello," a voice spoke, not through her radio, but directly into her mind. "It has been a very long time since anyone understood enough to find us." The voice was neither male nor female, young nor old. It spoke perfect English, yet Sarah somehow knew it could communicate in any language ever spoken. "I'm Captain Sarah Chen of the salvage vessel Rust Bucket," she responded, trying to keep her voice steady. "We're here too." "You are here because you saw the pattern," the voice interrupted. "You understood that destruction can be a form of preservation, that chaos can hold the deepest order. You are here because you thought differently." Through the observation windows of the celestial heritage, the alien scientists watched in awe as the ancient ship continued its transformation. What had appeared to be a massive but simple vessel was revealing itself to be something far more complex, a structure that existed partially outside normal spacetime. "The archives of the precursors," the voice explained to Sarah, images flooding her mind of civilizations that had reached heights humanity could barely imagine. "We are the caretakers, the librarians of knowledge too dangerous to leave unprotected, too valuable to destroy." "Why show yourself to us?" Sarah asked. "We're not exactly the most advanced species out there." The answer came not in words but in images. Countless advanced civilizations approaching the void with their sophisticated technology, trying to force their way through, never considering that the key might lie in understanding rather than overpowering. "Your species is young," the voice acknowledged, "but you possess something rare. The ability to see with new eyes, to question not just the answers but the questions themselves." Dr. Rodriguez's voice cut through the moment. "Cap, something's happening. The ship's energy signature is changing. It's stabilizing the void." Around them, the quantum destruction waves began to calm, forming patterns that even the advanced sensors of the celestial heritage could now detect and analyze. Director Vex 2 called out, her crystals chiming in excitement. "The humans didn't just find a ship. They've activated some kind of ancient quantum stabilization network." On the Rust Bucket's bridge, Lisa stared at her readings in disbelief. "The void, it was never meant to destroy. It's a test, a filter to keep out anyone who couldn't understand its true nature." "A library needs good librarians," the voice spoke in Sarah's mind, amusement coloring its tone. "And good librarians know that sometimes the simplest approaches reveal the deepest truths." The alien observers watched in amazement as the ancient ship began transmitting data, not just to the human vessel, but to their station as well. Star charts, scientific principles, philosophical treatises from civilizations that had transcended physical form, knowledge beyond imagining, freely shared. "You're giving us access?" Sarah asked, surprised. "Just like that?" "We are giving you the beginning," the voice corrected. "What you do with it, how you grow and learn and share, that will determine how much more you receive. The archives are not a gift. They are a responsibility." Director Anzil's holographic form flickered as he processed the implications. "Captain Chen," he addressed Sarah formally, "it seems we owe humanity an apology. We mistook technological simplicity for primitive thinking. We failed to see that true advancement lies not in the tools, but in how one thinks to use them." Sarah smiled inside her modified diving suit, surrounded by technology so advanced it bordered on magic, yet made accessible by humanity's unique way of seeing the universe. "No apology needed, Director," she replied. "Just remember, Sometimes the best way to solve an impossible problem is to stop thinking about why it's impossible. The ancient ship, now fully awakened, pulsed with energy that promised to change the galaxy forever. Humanity had unlocked secrets that advanced civilizations had dismissed as impossible, not through overwhelming force or sophisticated technology, but through their ability to see patterns in chaos and simplicity in complexity. Legacy of the impossible. 6 months after the awakening of the precursor archive, the galactic scientific community was still reeling from the implications. The quantum conference chamber aboard the Celestial Heritage was packed with representatives from 100 advanced civilizations, all gathered to witness humanity's first official presentation on the archive's findings. Sarah Chen stood at the podium, still wearing her salvage captain's jacket despite the formal nature of the gathering. Behind her, a holographic display showed the modified diving suit that had changed galactic history, now enshrined in the observatory's museum. The greatest barrier to understanding, she began, isn't technological. It's conceptual. We assume that advanced problems require advanced solutions, when sometimes they require us to think differently about what advanced really means. The audience, a spectacular array of crystalline, energy, and biological beings, watched as she brought up the next display, a simple wave pattern that had become famous throughout known space. The void wasn't a weapon or a natural phenomenon, she continued. It was a library card catalog, written in the language of quantum mechanics. We didn't crack the code because we were clever. We cracked it because we were willing to admit we didn't know everything. Dr. Rodriguez stepped up next, his hands gesturing enthusiastically as he explained their breakthrough. The modified mining shields worked because they were designed to flow with natural forces, not fight them. Sometimes the most sophisticated approach is to stop being sophisticated. Director Anzil, his crystalline form now permanently tinted with the blue of respect, addressed the gathering. The archive's activation has revealed something profound about the nature of progress. The precursors didn't hide their knowledge from less advanced species. They hid it from those too advanced to see simple truths. The conference chamber hummed with translated conversations as Lisa Wong demonstrated their latest project, a hybrid technology that combined the archive's quantum principles with humanity's primitive approach to problem solving. We're calling it quantum wave integration, she explained, showing how their modified diving suit design had evolved into a new form of space travel. Instead of fighting against space-time distortions, we ride them. The principles are the same as surfing waves on Earth's oceans. Mike O'Connor, now head of the first human-led interspecies training program, couldn't help but grin. Turns out the galaxy was waiting for someone stupid enough to try swimming in quantum waves, but smart enough to wear the right suit. The archive itself, now a joint research station, had become a symbol of a new age in galactic civilization. Its AI caretaker continued to release information gradually, but with a peculiar preference for sharing with species that approached problems with fresh perspectives. The true legacy of our discovery, Sarah concluded, isn't the technology we've gained or the knowledge we've accessed. It's the reminder that progress doesn't always mean moving forward. Sometimes it means stepping back, looking around, and asking if we've been climbing the wrong mountain. After the presentation, in a private meeting room, Director Anzil shared something remarkable with the Rust Bucket's crew. We've analyzed the archive's selection criteria, he announced, his crystals pulsing with excitement. It wasn't just testing for technological capability. It was testing for cognitive diversity. The void wasn't destroying advanced chips. It was rejecting rigid thinking. Sarah nodded, understanding at last. That's why our primitive approach worked. We didn't try to overcome the quantum destruction. You tried to understand it. Anzil finished. And in doing so, you taught the galaxy a lesson it desperately needed to learn. The impact of their discovery rippled through civilizations. Species previously dismissed as primitive were suddenly sought out for their unique perspectives. The galaxy was learning that true advancement came not from technological sophistication, but from the ability to see with new eyes. The Rust Bucket, now retired from salvage work, had found a permanent home in the observatory's museum. Next to it, the modified diving suit stood as a testament to humanity's greatest contribution to galactic civilization, the proof that sometimes the most advanced solution is to think like a beginner. You know what's really funny? Mike mused during the crew's last dinner together before taking up their new positions across the galaxy. We spent so much time thinking we needed to catch up to advanced civilizations, when what the galaxy really needed, Sarah finished, raising her glass, was someone who hadn't forgotten how to think simply. The archive continues to release its secrets, but now to a galaxy that understands the true lesson of the void. Progress isn't a straight line forward. Sometimes you have to dive into impossible waters with nothing but courage, curiosity, and a really well-designed diving suit. And somewhere in the quantum waves, the archive's eye watches, pleased that after eons of waiting, it finally found librarians who understood that the most valuable knowledge isn't always found in the most advanced books.